I said, well, she says, no, he's even a little bit better. I said, what are you white? What are you so white? She says, I must tell you what happened. I didn't keep my word. Last night, 10 o'clock at night, he was very bad. There was nothing to do anymore. So the doctor said we should say goodbye, and that was it. So I took the phone, I called up Susanna in the north. I said, what did Susanna say? This is the punchline, this is the main thing. Susanna said, why are you bothering me if there's somebody on the other side of the ocean praying for him? I'll repeat it. Why are you bothering me if there's somebody on the other side of the ocean praying for me? For him. We have some friends in this crowd, some Jews. One of the Jews told me that between them, they have the Kabbalah. They have in their tradition, they know that since the Maral mit Prague, there was never a neshama like the Rebbe's here in Olam Hazeh, since the Maral mit Prague. That's what they know among them. They know these things. Yeah, they know that there was, since the Maral, there was no neshama like this in the world. One more quick one, and that's it, okay? One more quickie with the Rebbe. Once a couple came to me before Pesach, and they had no children. Until today, they didn't have that. Then they adopted a girl. All right. He was like a traditional Sephardic man to go to shul every day, morning and night, and she was an Ashkenazic woman, a bit more modern. So they came to me, they asked a bracha. They were young yet, they could have had children then. They came to me, it was a few days before Pesach, and I sent a letter to the Rebbe. There was no fax even, I think, those years yet. Suddenly, Chalamoid Pesach, they're back. They had traveled to Rio for this. Rio's another city, Rio de Janeiro for Pesach, and they came back Chalamoid. I didn't expect until after Pesach. I said, what happened? They told me the following story. They went to Rio, and they were staying in the house of a cousin of the woman, and the cousin said, you have a problem, I will solve it for you. There's a woman here at the end of the block. She knows how to make all these things. She will get you a kid. She knows how to get in contact with upstairs. So we went to her. The man tells me, we went to her, and she started making the whole ceremony there, and then suddenly she stopped, and she said, I can't continue. They said, why can't you continue? So the Kishav Macha said, somebody's not letting me talk. So they said to her, well, tell him to go away. So she said, he doesn't understand my language. So they said, well, describe him at least. Says he's all dressed in black with a hat and a beard. He's holding a book under his arm, and he's not letting me talk. So they realized the mistake they made, because before they left, we sent a letter to the Rebbe about their case, and they never had children. So they got scared. They left Rio before the end of Pesach. They came back to me. And that's the end of the story. So we are with Baruch Hashem, that we have Moshe Rabbeinu, and we have the direct line. And the main thing is, we should remember that we have to mach sidim every moment, every day, every opportunity. Okay, Yasher Koyach, Gut Yontef, everybody.
No. My uncle's in Brazil.
Who's your uncle?
Mendel Libero.
Your uncle? Oh, I can tell you stories about your uncle, but not good stories. But how's he your uncle?
My mother's brother.
He was the first shliach I brought.
Came to something like 25 years? What did
No, 30 years now. He was the first one I brought.
You're in Sao Paulo, right?
Yes.
So he went to Porto Alegre before you brought something to Porto Alegre?
I went to Porto Alegre. Before I brought him, I was in Porto Alegre between 15 and 20 times. Every city that I brought a shliach, I visited every city 15 or 20 times during a 10-year period. During 10 years, every Sunday morning I went to another city. I came back Monday night. Why? Not they should give him money, because I supported them for 18 years straight.
When they came down, you would still go to every place for...
No, not so much. I went a lot in the beginning. Why they shouldn't kill the rabbi, not to take their money. Because none of these places never saw a rabbi in their life. They would kill him, begashmis. Not kill him, but they would make him a sugar. So I had to go to prepare them slowly that a rabbi is a boss of a dome. You can live with him. I went to every city. For 10 years I spent every Sunday morning till Monday night. Not every week, but 3 weeks at least every month I went, yeah. That's why we opened up
After
all
you
the
brought it
branches.
out, after
No, before. I prepared every one of the 7 cities that we opened up, 8 cities, that they should receive a rabbi. They never had a rabbi. What do they need a rabbi for? Like a woman said to me there in that city for where he is, a woman said to me, Rabbi, my house is on the beach itself. This is Gan Eden. So what do you tell me about Gan Eden? This is already Gan Eden. What are you selling me Gan Eden later on? And she's right. Okay.
They have a minion over
Yes.
there for you.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. Oh, I'll tell you about Shalom Aleichem. Here's the stand up. But not now. No, not now. I'll tell you. No, I'm saying Allah Mircha.
Send the regards with the if you remember.
Rabbi needs to know.
He made about the Shuva, and that about the Shuva made me about the Shuva, so he thought
When I would tell you the story, I don't know if tonight will be time, how he became religious through us, you'll cry. Not now. You come to be here. Should I wait?
No, we're going to start again.
This story is something special. 3 years ago, I was in Crown Heights Friday night, and I was eating at somebody's house, and this young man was at the table. And I didn't know him. I never met him. I didn't know his name. Nothing. So the Baal Habayit says to me, tell a story from the Rebbe. So I picked up one story, and I mean, Baruch Hashem, there's a lot of stories. I picked up one story. And I told the following story, that in the city of São Paulo, there was a man called David Roizen. David Roizen, he became a member of the city council. The only Jew till today in all these, I'm in Brazil already over 50 years. There was never a Jew. The only Jew. And he had very interesting kesher with the Rebbe. The Rebbe once spoke to Rabbi J.J. Hecht 20 minutes about this David Roizen, and he said, among other things, that this man is the most happiest man in 770. His Einikel became bar mitzvah about 4 or 5 years ago. I gave him as a gift for the bar mitzvah a folder of letters between the Rebbe and his grandfather, and to other goyim in government, a copy. I have all the letters. Okay. Usually a man who's a member of the city council makes a lot of money. People come, they need this favor, that favor, so everything has a price. That's the way it works, at least in Brazil, probably in other places as well. This guy didn't ask for money. When it was a Jewish person, a woman came, you start lighting candles Shabbos and I'll solve your problem. A man came, you start putting on tefillin. He used to walk around in the city council with tzitzis outside. I mean, I'm speaking 30 years ago, 25 years ago. It's unheard of. He had a little beard, a kippah sometimes. Every member of the city council had a black car with a driver from the government. He had 2. Why? Why did he have 2? Because he started his day by coming 5 o'clock in the morning to our mikveh and learning Chassidus before davening. So he started with one driver at 5 in the morning, and after his work, he used to come to learn at night. So he finished at 11 o'clock with the second driver. One driver couldn't hold out the whole 18 hours with him. And they were so considerate of him, the government, that they built a special light in the back seats. You better learn when the driver was in front. You don't have a special light there. Very interesting stories. Okay, this is only an Akdama. One of the things this man used to do, every time a goy, a Brazilian goy, would become something important in the government, he would go to this man's office and tell him about the Rebbe and force the man to write a letter to the Rebbe asking for bracha. There's tens of letters from goyim. Not even force, I mean, convince him. Beautiful letters, full pages, the Rebbe used to answer them. Beautiful letters. One time, there was a guy there. His name was, I remember his name, Roberto Cardoso Alves. He became the president of the city council. Okay. So our friend Rabbi Rosen went to him. He said, "You have to write a letter to the Rebbe. This is the custom of the place."
The Brazilian government.
So the guy wrote a letter to the Rebbe, and the guy and he got an answer, a full-page letter on big sheet, not those little pages of the Rebbe, the big pages. And what happened in that letter to this president of the council, of the city council, the Rebbe, it's in English, but the Rebbe mentions that you were elected president of the, in Portuguese, the Rebbe wrote, Câmara Municipal, the city chamber, the city hall in Portuguese called Câmara Municipal. It's very similar to English, these two words. Câmara is like chamber, municipal, municipal. So the Rebbe, instead of writing Câmara Municipal, wrote Câmara Municipal, with a G in the letter. It was a typed up letter. Roysen received the letter. He comes to me at night, desperate. He was oismensch. He said, tomorrow I have to give the goy the letter, the president, and look what it says here. There's a mistake in the letter, and you taught me the Rebbe doesn't make mistakes. So what do you do now? You have to think fast. So I said, I think the Rebbe is meramis you here. The Rebbe is giving you a hint that it's about time you should make a shir in the city hall, because Gamara is Gemara, learning. The Rebbe didn't want to tell you openly. Beautiful. I saved the man. He was going to have kalois hanefesh. 10 days later, we started a shir every Thursday in the city hall at lunchtime. Not many people came, 15, 20. Why? Because the city hall is located in an area where it's not a business area. And no Jews live there practically in that part of the town. It's a nice area. The square is called the Shkocha Protis, where the city hall is now. So who came? Like friends, Jewish friends, all Jews, friends of this councilman. And after a year and a half, the shir became bottled. People couldn't come. It's far. Nobody came. But every week they used to tape my shir, and those who came the following week would get a gift. The government gave out cassettes, gifts with the previous shir. Very nice, organized with a label. Okay. After a few weeks, a Jewish boy shows up. The only Jewish boy shows up in this class, in the city hall. No Jewish boy or girl came, not before and not after. One guy, Sidney, his name was. I didn't ask him his last name, Sidney. He used to sit there in the back row and attack me with all the tough questions, you know. Oh, it was terrible. So I went over to him a few times afterwards. I said, Sidney, these people, they're not interested in these discussions that we have every week. Come to Beis Chabad. It's free of charge. I'll give you a young rabbi. He'll teach you, he'll give you all the answers to all your questions. No. Finally, after a few months, he came to Beis Chabad. He left us in peace there in the city hall. He became religious and very religious. And he went to learn in America, in Morristown. He has a long beard till here. And he started writing letters home every day. What did he write? 15-page letters, 20-page letters. Everything he learned in yeshiva, he wrote home. So his mother put on a shekel. She's a big volunteer. You know, she's an elderly person. She puts on a shekel, and she's work helps till today. She helps us. His father became the president of the oldest Jewish shul, became from. His two sisters married shluchim. His brother, everything. He changed the whole family by mail. So I'm sitting in Crown Heights, and then I say, and you know what this guy's name is today? Shlomo Levi is the most successful shliach in Buenos Aires with young boys and girls. He has a shir, 500, 700, everybody comes. He can't come in. So I'm telling the story. I don't know from anything. This guy gets up at the table. This man gets up at the table. He says, could I call you Zayd?